This is Ace at the Plate on WCWPSports.org.
All right, man. What is going on, Joe?
Hey, how's it going?
For everyone who doesn't know, I'm Ace with Ace at the Plate. Doug is late. It's all good, though.
Late.
We got our friend Joe, and today is going to be an amazing episode.
Before we get started,
yeah,
I just want to give a
got
quick
some
shout out
shout-outs.
to my friend Lou and Chris Sano. I know you guys are listening right now. This one's for you.
All right, so
All right.
listen, this is crazy because we were talking about nothing's going to happen with Cespedes, and it turned out, was it on that day or the day after the show did he end up signing?
Yeah, we met Monday, obviously. I think he ended up signing the next day.
Yeah,
on
the
Tuesday.
next day we were talking about nothing's going to happen until after the winter meetings, and we were wrong.
We were dead wrong.
We
Well,
were dead wrong.
my prediction was that he was going to sign in exactly a week. I thought he was going to sign today. What's today? December 5th?
Yeah.
I thought he was going to sign today for like a 5-year deal or something. And that's another thing. I was really surprised he didn't get a 5-year deal. I thought he was going to get.
Well, let's talk about it.
a
It's
fifth
4
year.
years, $110 million, 100%. Some people are stupid. Here, some people are not happy with the deal. And in those people, I go, you must like to frickin' lose, you loser. You're a loser. If you didn't like that deal right now, you're listening, I don't care who you are, you're a loser. Because no way are we living back in the past, pre-Cespedes, 2009 City Field, empty field.
Ghost town.
All right?
Ghost
2009, 2010, like what were those years? They were garbage. They were failures. Same thing, 2014. Like there wasn't even anything notable about 2014 because Matt Harvey wasn't even there. It was like, what's going on? David Wright just had a terrible year that year. I mean, these are like, you don't want it to go back to empty field, but listen, this deal, first of all, was needed. It was a must for the Mets. If you just look at the records when Cespedes is in the lineup and out of the lineup, it's a huge difference. Yeah. And to me, I forgive the Wilpons.
Absolutely.
I've gone as far as to forgive because it's no secret the Wilpons have scammed a bunch of people, literally, and the
Wilponzies.
The Wilponzies.
The coupons.
With the Ponzi scheme. They literally are criminals. And they didn't...
You know what?
They
You can't
didn't
complain
spend
now.
money. They didn't spend money, right? I mean, they're paying this huge settlement for like years now. But $162 million they're paying all in these installments. But, it's crazy because they wouldn't spend any money on the team, and people would go, well, it's because of this Ponzi scheme thing that they're not spending any money. There's no money to really spend. And we didn't really know about the Mets' finances, but it really started in 2015. It started in 2015 when we had all these pitchers. People started going to the games, and if you're offering $110 million, there's money in the bank for that. So no deferred money. I mean, it looks like they ponied up and they proved that they are in New York because the last few years they haven't really been New York. We're talking about guys like Alejandro Diaz was the original backup to Cespedes. Imagine we didn't get Cespedes. Guess who it would be? Alejandro Diaz.
DFA-Aza, right?
DFA Diaz. Isn't that just insane? I mean, what is this? Doesn't it signify to you that this is now a big league team?
Absolutely. This signifies that they're a big league team, that they're no longer a small market team. They're acting like a typical New York team, right?
Yeah.
They're acting like the Yankees now. They believe, and this goes to show that they believe that they're in it. They're contenders, that they can win a championship.
And let me tell you this. I know that before everybody gets away, and if Wilpon is listening, don't have a heart attack yet, because we're not saying to become the new Dodgers and spend all this cash. It's never about how much
we don't
money.
want to be in debt now.
Yeah. No, we're going to be in debt or something. I mean, I don't even know anymore. We're in debt to those people, Arva and Picard or whatever. But listen, I'll tell you this now. It's not like money was always the most important thing. It was just so evident that the Mets would not spend to upgrade the team when it mattered. And it doesn't matter how much money you spend, it's how you spend it. And the thing is, the Mets just would not spend it. They would either not spend it wisely or they wouldn't spend it at all. If there was a clear upgrade and he wasn't even like that top tier, like it wouldn't happen. They just wouldn't do anything. It was just a garbage, boring years. And at that point in time, I seriously wondered, are they ever going to be good again if they're going to be like this? But they said that if the fans show up, they will spend, and we showed up, and they did it.
Well, this signifies that they're, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to become, this competitive team year in and year out, and I think signing Yoenis is
it's huge.
Is a big sign of that.
I mean, let me tell you this: for the first time in years, and I get it, like 2015, they were in the World Series and all that, but it's not like they still weren't spending money. It wasn't. Right. I mean, again, and that just goes to prove, because, again, a few weeks after the World Series, they were not aggressive with Cespedes. They would have let him go. I mean, this is just a year ago. They would have let him go, and it would have been Alejandro De Aza. And luckily, if the market picked up for Cespedes, he would have been gone. Mm-hmm. And just spending another year with the Mets just sort of reminded him how much he loves New York.
Right.
He loved it before.
Loves it here.
He loved it before. But spending another year, especially, I think, making friends with Reyes and Cabrera, I think those were huge. And he said that those were big.
I'll tell you what. I think Jose Reyes played a big part in recruiting him back.
He said so. Because you know what? They became friends, man. You should see you should follow Jose Reyes on Instagram.
Oh, I do.
And he has they have the stories and stuff, and they got the pictures, man. During the season, they were like BFFs. Him and Cabrera, they were like the three amigos. It was amazing. So it was great to see.
It's good to have them back.
It's great to have the personalities in New York. Like, this is a team, It's like every time, like in 2006, 2000, all those teams. Any team, this isn't just with the Mets, they all sort of have like a signature personality, So like the Mets personality in this quote-unquote era is like Cespedes, Syndergaard, Asdrubal Cabrera. Right. I mean, these are Reyes again.
Yep.
I mean, these guys are going to be remembered. And back then, I'm telling you, even though he's gone, I'm telling you, years from now, you're gonna go, oh man, remember like when the Mets had Cabrera and stuff? Like, what are we talking about? I'm dead serious.
It's like how we talk about Ray Ordonez or
Jose
Reyes back when he was, coming up with the Mets. These are guys who are just they're making it a good culture. They're making it a good place to play.
It is a great place to play. They're making it great, and it's just amazing. I mean. I say this to myself every morning. I literally have been. I go, the Mets signed not just a free agent, but the best free agent on the market. That's almost unbelievable. And we have our friend Doug coming in, our co-host. You're on mic 3 today.
Let's go, man.
You're on mic 3. Sorry, traffic was bad, I guess, right? Tell me when you adjust it. I'll turn your mic on.
No problem. Thank you.
But as I was saying, I wake up every day. I really just think about it. And to me, I forgive the Wilpons for the years. I don't now. I officially
still.
Not anymore.
I'll
tell you this.
Coupons?
I'll tell you this right now. Right. I think that now, first of all, like, you remember how people would go, they need to not be our owners anymore. We're not going to win with them anymore. That is now. I will not be saying that anymore. That's it. Until eventually when they suck again, but. They are now forgiven. I actually do not have a grudge against. They knew when to get it done. This was the deal to get done. Mm-hmm. And I think it was just so important that they did. And, Doug, what did you think of the news about Cespedes?
I'm shocked, to be honest. I thought it was going to take a while. They didn't reach the new collaborative bargaining agreement between the players' union and also the owners.
Right.
So I thought that they would be waiting, and at least Yoenis would try to draw out the market a little bit more. But I think last year spooked him. Because last year, this is the guy who thought he was going to get maybe 6 years, like $150 million. But he had to sell for that 3-year deal with the Mets. So I think he wanted to just jump on the gun and be like, you know what? I see other guys out there like Edwin Encarnacion. I don't think he's going to be getting what he wants. He's asking for like 5 years, $100 million plus. I think he's going to end up selling for like 4 years, like $90 million or even less.
So you think Cespedes basically – I think it was this, and Cespedes said it was this. It was not only that he loves it here, but he made friends with Reyes and Cabrera.
Yeah, that's true.
Really tight.
Hey, now you see Jose Reyes. It was actually a double bargain right there. Because you know what? It brings back our heart and soul of the team of Jose, but adds on the stallion, the guy that breaks everyone's back and puts them to work.
I mean,
Yoenis.
Reyes has firsthand experience because, let's be honest, it was obvious like he was not really happy anywhere else. And you could tell when he was DFA'd by the Rockies, and obviously – he was DFA'd because first of all, he didn't put up good numbers there, but second of all, he had the domestic violence thing. They didn't want anything to do with him. And he was always tweeting about the Mets. Like, whenever he was on the Jays, or I don't think he did it with the Marlins much, but when he was on the Jays, like, he would tweet himself in a Mets uniform all the time. I remember seeing it all the time. He always loved the city. He loved New York. He still has he has a place here.
Yeah, he does actually.
He lives like right across the street from here, basically.
Yeah, right.
Seriously.
He like actually lives like I think about a 30-second trot outside the door.
Seriously. So
Probably a nice house.
Jose, thank you for recruiting Yoenis back. We appreciate it.
Basically
Stop by the studio anytime.
Not only that though, like again, I just think he found home here. I mean, this is a guy, Cespedes, who was traded from team to team, moved on from team to team, couldn't really find a home.
Yep.
And I think he just wanted to have a stable place. And I think that just being in New York, he embraced it and he goes, this is a place I wouldn't mind playing for the rest of my career. And he even said, like, I'm going to quote him here, he said, God bless, I retire with this team. I mean, he really wants to be here. And full no-trade clause.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
And it's not like Sandy asked for that. He asked for that. He does not want to leave New York.
Right.
It's come to a point where he loves this place. And I'm so glad that we have him. And I can't believe the Mets are actual owners. I can't believe that, like, the Wilpons actually spent money.
They ponied up. I'm
realized
shocked.
That's not like small money. That's big league money. That's real money. They actually spent money. It's
That's like Jason Bay. Wait a second.
they actually spent like a significant amount. And people would say it all the time. I remember, and you guys remember it. I'm sure you remember it. All these years, people going, man, these are the worst owners in the league. These guys are terrible, and we're stuck with them. And they somehow have completely spun a 180. And I guess their finances can't be as bad as we originally thought.
Or no, I think it's because they got a bargain here because they had been expecting 5 years, like close to $125 to $130 million.
Yeah.
And they were steadfast at 4 years because they don't want to prolong that because when you have these contracts that are coming up, when you have these young guns we need to start focusing on, we've got Noah Syndergaard that we need to start going for. So 4 years, that literally is just telling us our window right now, guys, is 4 years, all right?
Right.
We need to get this done in 4 years' time. The clock is a-ticking.
Listen, we're not going to be able to sign all these guys. Don't live in that fantasy world. That's $1 billion rotation. So I would expect, if the Mets are lucky, to keep 2. That's how expensive all these guys are.
And the question is, which 2 would you rather keep?
Well, I think the number one guy you have to keep, and this is going to be the most expensive guy at the moment. Noah Syndergaard. But he has the longest away. Him and Matz are the
They're
longest
under control for, what, 5 years?
Until 2020, 2021?
They just started. So the earliest is Matt Harvey, and we could talk about this also, is depending on what is Matt Harvey this year. I think he's going to have a good year, but the question is, and I was always for it, if he has some amazing killer year, do we keep him for another year, or because he's not signing here? I know it. I'm calling it now. He's not signing here unless he has a terrible year. He's not going to sign. If he's never Matt Harvey again, he'll sign here.
Matt Harvey's a free agent after this year, or
I think after this year. I think.
I don't know, but I'll tell you this.
I don't know. I'm like he's turned to the back burner in my mind. I'm like,
he's the early. He's got to go. In my
It's
opinion.
crazy. You kind of forget about him, because you got let's face it, Noah Syndergaard is the ace right now. He is the ace of the staff.
Not only that, I think Matt Harvey fell out of favor when he did that whole fiasco of I'm not pitching. I think that was the last.
Oh, wow. Harvey's a free agent in 2019. Okay, wow.
So
really? He has a good year this year,
we have
and
this
you flip him.
Jesus, I thought it was like 1 year up, and I'm like, wow.
My theory
So that means we have DeGrom until 2021. That means we have Syndergaard until, what?
2021 or 22? Like,
I mean, Jesus.
Okay, we're sitting pretty for a little while.
Okay, we're sitting pretty. However, I'm just saying this is a theory, and I don't know how you guys feel about it. Matt Harvey wins the Cy Young this year, and then we trade him. And we cash in.
The cash in, like you mean the R.A. Dickey style?
We completely cash in. Completely full out, sell out, cash in on Matt Harvey. And this is obviously so questionable. We have no idea how he's going to pitch this year. But I don't know, man. I just never liked the arrogance of this guy. It pisses me off.
Well, it depends if he was performing and if he didn't like cave in at the most crucial moments. Because otherwise, you'd be like, yeah, you know what? He's a stud. Like this guy backs up what he says.
You're right. I think the whole I'm not pitching thing in the summer of 2015.
You know what
that was.
You know what that is? That's a hashtag sellout.
That's
selling out.
I think a lot of people's opinions of him kind of changed after that.
Completely
changed.
Yeah,
where it wasn't about the team, it was about him. You mean?
Yeah.
Like when he was talking to Boris, it was just like,
and this is a guy in 2014 who demanded Tommy John surgery to go ahead of schedule and pitch. He's like, I'm ready to pitch. I'm pitching opening day 2014. He's telling everyone, right? Mm-hmm. And this is the guy, and that guy pulled a 180 and said, I'm not going to pitch because I'm going to hit my innings limit. And that's how you know it's for the money, not for the team. And you don't get many chances at a World Series. Nothing is guaranteed, not even this year. I'm saying if our arms are healthy, we have a very good shot we'll have a good shot of making it back to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Winning the division, that's another thing. There's still a great chance, mm-hmm. but there's so much. Today's going to be a great episode. So it's just a Mets episode, and I'm just saying because we don't have that much time left in this segment, but. Also, the Nationals on Andrew McCutchen, man.
Well, no, it's not just him. I mean, this is the start of the Chris Sale, too. That's a big one. That scares me more than McCutchen.
Yeah,
that makes me, like, poo my pants.
I can just picture Chris Sale just shutting out the Mets.
I'm like him and Scherzer. I'm like, oh, God.
Here's the thing. Today's a Mets episode because of all this stuff.
Too.
Like I'm like, there's names I'm like not like. Oh my God!
And we're talking.
It's a nightmare.
We're talking about the Mets here, and we have the Nationals who are gonna definitely be our biggest threat. And they not only are they looking scary, but if they get Chris Sale and McCutchen, if they get one of the two, it's scary. But if they get both, which they want, they said, quote, we have the prospects to get both. I don't know about that, but. Pittsburgh's going to want a haul, and so is White Sox. They're going to want a haul. They're going to.
How many prospects do they have?
They're going to pull off a Yankees. The White Sox are going to pull off a Yankees.
You know what? Maybe they don't have the prospects. Maybe they bring in the Mets as a third team. I've been eyeing the White Sox. I've been eyeing the White Sox right now.
You're talking about a three-way deal?
Oh, yeah. I'm talking about a three-way deal right now. Menage a trois, the ultimate deals right now. I'm talking about we get David Robertson and we get Adam Eaton in the center field. That is the two players I want to haul back. We give them Bruce.
By the way, guys,
right.
we got.
It's crazy.
That's
talk.
creative.
It's crazy.
We
talk.
have so much today. We got about 5 seconds, so we will see you back.
That's the best part about this year. You could just
so
crazy
join us,
trades.
stick around, and see you after the break.
A museum is the best place to time travel. Make your next trip easier by joining the Gold Coast Library Museum Pass program. As a member, you can borrow a free admission pass for your family to local museums like the Cradle of Aviation Museum, the Long Island Children's Museum, and more. For more info, call 516-759-8300 or visit goldcoastlibrary.org. The Community Calendar is a public service from your friends at 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
Youth is a gift of nature, but age is a work of art. Learn to appreciate life after retirement through the arts and entertainment on Senior Moments. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 right here on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
You're listening to Ace at the Plate.
So, guys, we're back, and we sort of previewed it. But we want to talk about the Nationals because, of course, this is a Mets show right now, but they're our biggest rival, and they're going to be relevant in the NL East. And they are trying hard. I mean, let me just say, they are really aggressive with Sale right now. With the Sale talks, with the McCutchen talks, with just everything, man. They have been going in for it. And here's the thing. I mean, the division, it looks close. It looks like if the Mets pitchers stay healthy, if they're going to give them a run for their money for the division. Last year, the Mets pitchers just were all hurt, and that's why the Nationals ran away with the division. However, if the Mets play better, they could really make I don't know. They're both so good. What do you think about with this team with Sale? Do you really think the Nationals could pull off Sale? Get Chris Sale?
What is this? I have no idea what their farm system looks like. I have no idea how many prospects they have.
Well, don't they got Giolito and they got
Giolito, but Trey Turner as their center fielder shortstop combination, who in 73 games had 13 home runs and 33 stolen bases. A 3.42 average.
If they're serious,
why would you give that guy up?
Exactly. I think that's untouchable. But beyond that,
I don't know how they're going to get Chris Sale, let alone Chris Sale and Andrew McCutchen.
That's what they're saying. They're literally, they told people
maybe
today,
they're bluffing for whatever reason. I don't know.
They told people today that they have the prospects for both, and they want both. That's what they one source said an executive was confident they will get both. Isn't that funny? That's just like what a world we live in today.
I mean, that's a scary rotation.
Confident? Okay.
Yeah,
Chris
confident
Sale,
they'll get both. Chris Sale alone. And then you add in McCutchen, like out of nowhere. I mean, where's he going to play? Center? I mean,
yeah, no, he can only play center, but I guess I don't know. I'm surprised that the Pirates would be selling so low on him when his stock price is absolutely at its bottom point right now. He's bottomed out.
It is at his bottom point.
I mean, you've had a former MVP player here, considered like one of the top 10 players in the game for the past 5 years. Mm-hmm. But then this year, oh God, the guy completely did a 180. I mean, it wasn't just only his offensive prowess; his defensive skills just completely dropped off in his range.
You know, this is just another classic example. I mention it every show. I'm the biggest believer in it. And I think change of scenery is the biggest freaking deal here. I think it changes scenery. I'm telling you, I'm not saying it has to be every time a player goes into a slump, but sometimes when a player the impact of being moved, they're like, sometimes it's a wake-up call. Sometimes it just hits them like, man, I was just traded. People know I'm on the downturn. I'm not feeling as confident as I was. Like, maybe I need to go back to basics. Maybe I need to wake up. And I'm serious. I don't know how PNC Park is, but I'm sure Nationals Park might be a better hitter's park. I don't know if PNC Park is a pitcher's.
Yeah, not to mention if he's in that Nationals lineup, he's going to have a lot of protection around him
more than in the Pirates. So
yeah, by far more than the Pirates.
So I mean that could alone improve your numbers. So him being traded to the Nationals is very real, very scary, and we'll see what happens, especially with Sale, because with all this stuff, they already have arguably a better rotation than the Mets. I mean, arguably they have a better rotation.
It's a healthier rotation, right?
I mean,
every person in the Mets rotation is a question mark in terms of health.
Could I just?
Yeah.
And
every single one, like it's just a ticking time bomb that you're waiting to blow.
It's unbelievable with all this stuff with the Mets, and I just hope that.
Mats, bone spurs.
I mean, the thing,
Syndergaard bone spurs.
Isn't
Wheeler
even gonna fix his bone spurs.
Wheeler, is he gonna resurrect from the
Wheeler,
dead?
Yeah, right.
You know,
Speaking about Wheeler, Sandy's talking about starting him in the bullpen, which I'm fine. You know, I guess.
Wait, Wheeler in the bullpen?
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
To start the year, he said that yesterday.
I guess maybe to keep his innings under control. You know, build up that arm strength
By
a
the way,
little bit.
Quick question. This is the biggest stretch in the world, but I really don't like Lucas Duda. Is he
hates Lucas Duda.
Yeah.
I think Lucas Duda, I mean...
Is he the first baseman?
He's a serviceable first baseman.
He's inconsistent.
He's that good.
He's inconsistent. I mean,
here's the thing, right? Here's the main problem with Duda. He's getting in the way of Reyes. Because Sandy Alston just said Wright's the third baseman.
Right.
Wright's the third baseman. Mm-hmm. And that's fine, right? He's not going to play every day, so you'll have Reyes rotate, right? But
Wilmer Flores,
Reyes is speed.
Whose name gets forgotten every time, I swear to God.
TJ Rivera,
not
too.
from you, I'm just saying TJ Rivera, like no one in, like, even if you look at Mets blog, no one's considering them.
Well, here's the thing,
like, it's just like, what? They staples
thing,
from last year?
Remember how much of an impact Reyes made last year, especially as he was the leadoff hitter, and now he's not going to play every day? So they're talking about, this is what they're talking about, and Sandy Alston said this today, they're looking at Reyes center field.
I was just about to say that. I didn't know that they talked about it. I was thinking about it. Because
right?
they always talk, shortstops and center fielders are the most speedy, like, dynamic guys on the whole entire baseball field. I mean, that's
now
why
with Neil Walker
it's a natural
back,
transition.
He's not at second anymore, so you got to put him in center. And here's the thing: he could platoon with Lagares, and then they could rotate as leadoff hitters.
And then what? Conforto at first?
Yeah, that's.
I want to see Reyes play every day, though, and it's just
what I want. That's why I said center field.
And it's just tricky, like where you're going to put him.
No, he's a super utility. He's like the next Ben Zobrist.
Play everywhere.
Where it's just like every single position.
This guy's
I'll throw on a catcher's mask. I'm sure he'd do better than TDA.
He's got to play.
Yeah, seriously, right?
He's got to play almost better than. Well, first of all, if he's a platoon with Lagares, he's going to get most of the at-bats because most pitchers are right-handers. So he will be in there most days. And Lagares could mash lefties. That's why I think that them two... And he already had... Before he came to the Mets, when he was in that Port St. Lucie training thing, before he came back, he was playing center field.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for like a game. They had him working out in center field, like working on reps and stuff. So I would say... Because here's the thing, right? And by the way, this was just news. We're all over the place today, guys. But I got to say, this news is crazy. First of all, the Orioles. Tell them about the Orioles. The Orioles are talking about Granderson.
So the Orioles are talking to the Mets about either Granderson or Bruce in exchange for Brad.
Do you know his last name? I don't know. Brad something. He's a stud. He's got a 2-point-something ERA.
Brad, what was his name? Brad Brock, I think his name was, something like
Brad
that.
Brock.
He's
you know him. You should look him up. Brad
This
Brock.
is like I
Brack?
usually know every name. That's the first time that I'm like I listened to a name.
No, he was
I'm
a good reliever. He had 79 innings last year, 92 strikeouts and 79 innings.
wow.
2.05 ERA.
flew under the radar. But here's the thing, right? I first of all, I've heard.
I think
two
him and
things.
Addison Reed would be good.
We've
at the
all
back end.
heard two things. One, there's more interest for Granderson. That's number one. Which it would suck to trade him because here's the thing. The reason why Granderson is better than Bruce is one, he's more likable. Number two though, Bruce can't play center. Bruce could only play one.
He can't even
place.
play right.
Yeah, he can't even play on the field.
You got to get rid of Bruce. I mean, but I would listen.
I did read something
At least Grandy could play center.
from Joel Sherman. He says the Orioles feel that Granderson is too much money. He's owed $15 million.
Wow.
And the Mets are saying that they won't eat any of it. So
Yeah.
they're
Suck
kind
it.
of just
Bruce.
they're kind of just in preliminary talks right now. But
they don't
nothing
want- they
nothing
don't-
serious.
It doesn't seem like any teams want frickin' Bruce except for the Blue Jays, and they just signed Steven Pierce or whatever the hell his name is.
No, Steve Pierce.
Is
Because
he like good?
Steve
I'm
Pierce.
not-
he's
Yeah,
a
2 years.
nice platoon guy. I mean, his rates against lefties over the past 5 years, he's hit like 302 with like a 400 something. Like
I
slugging
heard
percentage.
it's- I heard
he's
it's-
very good against lefty. Perfect
Right.
for a platoon.
Right.
But otherwise, he sucks.
So they still want Bruce. Hopefully.
Oh yeah,
Hopefully.
no, because he would be nice. Like Pierce would be like a nice like outfielder platoon option with like not like Kevin Pillar, but I'm just trying to think. I mean, they've got Dalton Pompey, who's pretty good out there, who's usually at second base. But I think Bruce could still be on their radar. I mean, they're looking at Dexter Fowler as well, so it
That's
throws a
true.
wrench into the plans. But
It's so weird how this by the way, do you notice like this offseason compared to last offseason, it's completely different. Last offseason there was no action at this time. The action only started picking up after the winter meetings. It wasn't even during the winter meetings. The winter meetings were sort of quiet. I think the biggest thing that happened was the Ben Zobrist Yankee three-way.
yeah,
That was like the biggest thing, and that's it. This one, things are moving fast, which is cool. I like that better. I like having all this info.
I think it's because after the CBA agreement happened, I think then after that everyone understood what their luxury tax threshold was at because it increased, and they know what they can expect for the future. Because last year, when you didn't know what was happening with this collaborative bargaining agreement, you just didn't know how to project how the salaries would go and what you would want to tie up long term. Now everyone's like, all right, we're set for the next 5 years.
Right.
Let's go. Let's
Right.
grab them all.
Can you answer one question for me? Because I am confused about this. If, under the new agreement, I don't know, are you familiar with
Yeah.
it? If a team offers a compensation pick and he signs somewhere else, do you still get the first round?
For this offseason, yes.
But for the next one,
For the
no?
next one, no.
I don't like
There's
that.
no more first round picks whatsoever.
So what does that?
For
What
the
does that even
compensation.
mean for like for like this? I guess I don't have to worry about it anymore because the Mets spend money.
yeah, right.
I mean, what does that
Big
mean for
spenders.
small market team?
Oh no, it's
Right?
it's hard. It's really not good for small market teams anymore. Like
I
for
don't think
teams
it's
like the
good at all. I
Rays, like
think
the
it's
Indians,
terrible.
it really
I
is
don't like this
backlash
deal
against
at
them,
all.
and it increases the luxury threshold right now for teams, so that higher spending teams can spend up to I think the current level is at 195 million, and each year it's going to increase until it hits about 215 million.
Okay.
And so it's like really every small market team's getting the shaft right now, which might be putting pressure on some owners to try to sell or move teams, such as like the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, well, it's just so it's interesting. I wasn't clear on that, to be honest. But now that that's confirmed, do we get picks at all?
Yeah, it's going to be turning into depending upon the threshold. I think it's about how much
The
they get
second and
in their
fifth
like how
pick,
much the
right?
money they get in their offer. I think it's over like 30 million. Then you get like a second round pick
That's
or something
garbage.
like that. Then after that,
is
it goes like
garbage,
third
By
round.
the way, that I'm not a fan, but whatever. I guess the Mets spend money.
No, they
now.
had to draw a line because for the players, remember Ian Desmond last year, how they're getting shafted. Even like
But Ian Desmond sucked.
I mean, that's true. No, I mean,
Ian
like, he
Desmond-
did- he did
no, listen,
suck,
if you're
bud.
listening, Ian Desmond sucked last year. Okay.
Wait, no,
Before-
wait.
No,
Before
before he
it's-
went,
before 26.
before he went to the Rangers,
Before he
and had
went
his-
in, like,
before he had that rebound, he sucked. He was garbage. Okay, he'd be lucky to get a minor league deal. Okay, that's how bad he was. So don't give me this BS like, oh, he couldn't sign. The guy sucked.
it's a good
All right?
point. Good point. Good point.
Sucked.
Touche.
If he wanted the bigger contract, you play better, you scrub. But guess what, Mister I'm so wonderful in Texas. All right, everything's bigger in Texas right now. Guess what, buddy? You know what? Good thing you didn't play well because you played for the Nationals, you scrub. That's your first mistake. DC.
I'm glad about that.
That's your first mistake, DC. And I love how he turned down the offer. Like, you cocky son of a B.
Yeah,
you
right.
know, like,
$100 million plus, and he's like, you know
$100 million.
what?
Like, I'm worth
I'm
more
better
than
than that.
That's what you get, you greedy bastard. All right? That's what you get. I had no love for
what was
any
the offer
Nationals
they
player.
I think it was like
107
$107 million over 7 years, or
it was like 7 or 8 years.
For Desmond.
107
Yeah.
million.
From the Nationals.
And
from the
Hey,
Nats.
can somebody tell me why he didn't take that?
Because he's an idiot. He's a dumbass.
I mean, he's like, oh, I'm a perennial 2020 player, and it's just like, all right, then what
And
happens?
then-
He hits near the Mendoza line at 212, I think, or 222. Gets like 8 home runs, and he's like, crap.
Yeah, he's like,
what am I
that's
gonna
it.
do now?
And
it's like, how
even
about
though-
$8 million for 1 year?
Here's the
How would
thing.
you like that?
Even though he had a rebound year, he's not making anywhere near any of that money ever. So you're done
Actually,
screwed up.
This year he
Why?
might be able to because he can.
Nah.
No, he's selling the team so he can be a center fielder and also shortstop.
I know, but bro, not
Similar
near
thing
$100
happened with
million.
Lucas Duda. The Mets offered him what? It was like $90 million
Actually,
or
I
something
forgot
like that.
about that. Yeah, over like
did?
8
I
years.
And
forgot
he
about
turned
that.
that down too.
Wait, how many years though?
It was
$90 million?
I couldn't tell you the
Thank
years,
God.
But they
I
I
offered
think it was
him.
like 8 years or something like
What
that.
the-
Or like it was like they were trying to like just ballparking it. They're like, okay, what are your thoughts
Lucas
on this?
Duda is trash.
I'm looking that up now, but I know they offered him. It was before 2015. It was before.
No.
It was
before
when
the
it was
15
when he was
season.
like he was
I
freaking
think I
mashing
remember
balls. He
that
was like in the
now.
30 home runs and he
I
was approaching
completely
100
forgot
RBIs.
about that.
And it was
What
and he had like the 280 batting average, and it was just like, wow, this guy might be the future. Thank God.
And he just
That
Thank
guy
God.
might be the future.
Thank God.
Thank God. And by the way, Dom Smith next year.
maybe he knew like I stink. Why are you offering me?
He's
this
like
much?
Michael Kadire is just like,
Prospect-
guys, I'm just awful. I'm just gonna leave. Like I'm just out. Like,
Prospect-
You can keep the money. I'm out.
like this is
minute,
embarrassing. Like seriously.
Prospect to be on the lookout
Dominic Smith.
is Dominic Smith because
The Dom.
he's
I don't know.
good-
I don't know anything about the guy.
Yeah, actually, I really don't either.
Okay,
I
here I know about him. I
Athletic
know
first
about him.
baseman.
First of all, he's a first baseman. He was known for not having his power develop until like 2 off seasons ago, and he started to rake. So
It's like a Darryl Strawberry type of body where
Yeah.
it's like lanky, but you just see his get up there.
he
so
was
you get
getting
nice and
doubles
yoked.
a lot, doubles, and then like I think in 2015, I didn't keep up with the off season. I mean, with the winter ball, whatever the hell it is these years, like AAA. No one watches this. I didn't keep up. It's double. I don't even know what he's in anymore, but. He started to mash the ball, and I'm high on him. All right, I am high on him. Now, we'll see because I mean he could be in the big leagues next year. It's like a September call-up, so we could see because Duda is done after this year. He's gone, and now without this compensation pick, I just say cut him. I'm that low on Duda. I'm that low. Because he's just not my type of player. A guy
By the
who's-
way, after doing research, it wasn't anywhere close to $90 million. I don't know
Okay,
what I was.
thank
They were
God.
offering him 3 years, $30 million.
okay.
But still, that's overpaying for him.
But
still
yeah,
overpaying.
even still,
I'm looking at Twitter, but this
I
is
would have
just-
taken that if I was Duda.
yes, and that would have covered like 2 of his 3 arbitration years or whatever,
Yeah.
like 1 year of free agency.
Turned it down. What a loser.
No one do that.
Another loser. And by the way, and you missed it, and this one I really mean. Like, if you're listening to the show and you didn't like the Cespedes deal, you are a loser. And you love watching losing baseball. Like, you love watching a team like the Phillies
It had to
last
be
year.
done.
Like the Braves last year. Well, not the Braves. Braves were sort of at a bright spot, but the Phillies
Braves
last
are going to
year, right?
be.
They're gonna be decent. They're
Watch
trying to
out
get
for the
Chris
Braves.
Sale, too.
I mean, they're
They
not going
are
to be. They're not
talented.
going to contend in the NL East.
Oh, no,
because
no,
the
no,
Mets
no,
and
no.
Nationals are going to
They're
blow them
going
away,
for
but-
Chris Sale, though.
Yeah, they are.
Hard. If they, you know what? I got to give respect to whatever the Braves ownership is because they're starting to turn it into some sort of big team. I mean, if they get Chris Sale, they might have a chance. That's how big it is. If the Dodgers could rely on Clayton Kershaw to carry them all the way through every year, there's no reason why Chris Sale can't do it.
And Chris Sale going to the National League from the American League, I'm
with
imagining like a 2.4
Yeah,
ERA
and with the
like
bats.
3,000 strikeouts.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
With the bats the
Stupid.
Braves have now, the Braves are starting to build a lineup. They're
And
starting to
Dansby
build a
Swanson?
core. Yeah, and who else had a good year? What's his name again?
Freddie
Freddie
Freeman?
Freeman started to have a good year.
And then they've got Ender Inciarte, who's pretty damn good in that outfield over there.
I mean, who else? Don't they have one more? Nick Markakis?
Markakis is decent. The Greek Freak, yes, he's pretty good.
Greek
Yeah.
Freak.
Is he even on contract next year? I
Yeah,
don't
no, he
know.
is. I think he's got one more year left with them right
Okay.
now. So you've got Freeman out there. You've got
But,
Ender Inciarte.
Matt
Kemp. We got Kemp.
You know
I mean,
what?
it's
Now
pretty
that team-
decent. It's pretty
now
scary.
when you talk about that team, admit they're having a little bit of.
Who else they got? Like Adonis
they
Garcia.
got a little bit of a team
Did they
there.
have Jose Peraza, or was he on the Dodgers?
You know what? Braves fans, I'd watch.
Not to mention
I'd
they got
watch.
Anthony Recker.
Oh, Wrecker.
They have
Remember
Recker. Is he still on the
You know what?
roster,
And they got
though?
Wrecker, they got R.A. Dickey, and now they've got Bart.
Well,
Is
What
this
are they doing?
2013?
I'm
What is this?
We just went back in time. They're all wearing red. I
Yeah.
don't know what to make of this.
This is just, it's ridiculous. And so then you have like the garbage teams like the Marlins, okay? I mean, let's get real here. They're trash, all right? Loser franchise, even though they've won 2 World Series. Is just, I just never liked that stadium. It looks like Shrek took a crap. Give me a break. It's just so ugly and big. It's huge.
For no one, like it's just so that people can just like look at each other and
It's
wave like from 20
and
seats
by the way,
away.
you look at the games there, and it's really empty. It looks like you could echo and hear yourself.
They don't draw any
Like
fans.
they draw.
No, they draw more Mets fans when the Mets are there.
Well,
you hear
yeah.
"Let's go Mets" chants
Oh, by
at
the way,
their stadium.
By the way, can I just propose something? I told this to Joe. So, if I were the Rockies, like, first of all, they're like one of those teams that are. It's so hard for them to compete. Like, even when they made it to the World Series in 2007, I looked up all their pitchers' ERA, and they were all in the 4s. You can't have a good year there. I mean, as a pitcher. So, what you got to do is, well, first of all, I would just double down. I go Mark Trumbo. Let's go. He hit. What if he hit like 48
He had 47 leading the league.
home runs. Imagine going to Colorado. Like, he's like, screw the ring. I'm ready to just hit dingers. I'm going for 60. I'm
Yeah.
going for, you know.
Yeah, if you want to become a legend over 4 years' time, he should definitely go to Rockies. I didn't think about that.
How
but
crazy would that be? That would be insane. But
I feel like Nolan Arenado doesn't get the credit he deserves.
None
just
at all.
Just because he plays in
That's
Colorado.
Exactly. He still mashes on the road.
But that's the thing. No, that's the thing about Colorado is that when you do play there, no matter what, they're just going to go, well, he plays in Colorado. I mean, to be fair, Michael Kadire played in Colorado. Okay, so if you want to be fair, it doesn't mean that they're all.
He's not the first guy to come to the Mets and just totally, you know.
But I mean,
crap the bed.
Yeah,
know, like-
Jason Bay.
at least he didn't play in Colorado. But
Yeah.
you know, it's just amazing how all this stuff is happening. Oh, by the way, the Marlins are they? Again, what is all this crazy like crap talk from teams? They're all like, we're getting either McLennan, which is not happening.
Wait. Oh, you mean
Marlins
Melanson?
want the Marlins want yeah,
Melanson.
whatever.
I'm like,
I read the name. I don't know who the heck these.
Mark
I don't know.
Melanson signed with
No.
the Giants.
yeah, just sign with the Giants.
They-
Yeah, 4 years,
they want
62 mil.
Chapman, you
That's
know.
a big deal.
That's a
for
big.
a-
They
That's
want
I mean, that's
Chapman.
really nice.
What are they?
for a reliever.
Well, what are Marlins doing wanting Chapman? Like, they need a starting pitcher. What are they doing trying to get Chapman?
Well, because the whole entire thing over the past couple of years has been if you even have one serviceable guy in your rotation, then the rest are just
And who
innings
is that
eaters,
guy again?
then you can at least have, you can have a bullpen that's dominant that can carry you all the way
but
through.
who is the guy?
What do you
mean? Who is the Marlins guy? They don't have.
Unfortunately, their guy passed away
yeah.
last
So
year.
what are they doing?
They have beyond that like Wei Yin Chen and Adam Conlon.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, Fernandez.
Not that good.
Fernandez was that rotate. He was
not
the
competition anymore.
He was the team.
Basically,
Yeah.
Fernandez's death, unfortunately, is the end of the chances almost. I mean, they got Stanton, but who cares? I mean,
they've got Yelich, they've got Ozuna
They
that they
have
can
a
use as
great
like
young
They have a
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
offense.
Yeah.
They just don't. Their pitching is so bad now,
Yeah.
especially with
And
Fernandez.
they
going. I think
play-
even with
I
Fernandez,
think they're going
there,
to try to make David Phelps back into a starting pitcher.
Put this
I
in
don't know about
perspective.
that.
I don't trust
Yeah.
that.
Their pitching is bad, and they play in that park, and it's still bad. I mean, that's how you know you're done effed up. You're done effed up when you play in that stadium and you pit and you just. It's because there's just something wrong with that team. I don't know what it is. And then you have the Phillies, who what the heck? What? They're not going to be anything this year. I don't know. I don't know. I just for some reason thought a few
They
weeks
just
ago
stuck.
that
They
had
just stole
something.
Joaquin Benoit, who I really wanted to see the Mets pick up.
the Phillies.
Yeah, the Phillies, because he pitched to a .39 ERA over 23 innings for the Toronto Blue Jays last year. Until in his celebration, he jumped over and was running out and tore his calf muscle.
Oh,
and
jeez.
so, I don't know. At second thought,
got-
I'd expect that to happen when he was on the Mets. But
Yeah,
we
they
have
got
this-
Howie Kendrick too, but I don't know how that's gonna.
By the way, we have about a minute, and I just want to preview the next segment real quick. Next segment, we're going to talk about Bryce Harper's contract negotiations. He's not done with the Nationals for another 2 years, but they've been talking throughout the last few off seasons. We're not going to reveal it right now because I just want you to stay tuned, but it is a ridiculous asking price. It is just absurd. It's overpay, and we'll see. And just remember, what's the record-breaking contract for a position player?
It's got to be Miguel Cabrera, right?
Is it Cabrera or Stanton? I think it might be Stanton at $325 million.
No, I think Stanton is getting $340 million.
$340?
I know Miguel Cabrera is making the most amount of money for a position player this year. He's making $32 million.
I know his average year per contract is the highest.
Well, you know what? We got about 8 seconds left, and we're going to get right back to you on it, so stay tuned.
Looking for some informal stress relief and a relaxing way to get to know your neighbors? Try adult coloring. It's like coloring for kids, but harder to stay in the lines. It's on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. in the Port Washington Public Library. For more info, call 516-883-4400 or visit pwpl.org. The community calendar is a public service from your friends at 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
Youth is a gift of nature, but age is a work of art. Learn to appreciate life after retirement through the arts and entertainment on Senior Moments. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 right here on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
A museum is the best place to time travel. Make your next trip easier by joining the Gold Coast Library Museum Pass program. As a member, you can borrow a free admission pass for your family to local museums like the Cradle of Aviation Museum, the Long Island Children's Museum, and more. For more info, call 516-759-8300 or visit goldcoastlibrary.org. The community calendar is a public service from your friends at 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
You're listening to Ace at the Plate on WCWPSports.org.
All right, guys, so I'm going to reveal the number, and it's Bryce Harper talking to the Nationals. This is this offseason. This is recently. This just came out that he's been talking with them, maybe to get a long-term deal done, and his asking price out of this year, this offseason, is 10 years, $400 million. Yeah. And the Nationals are like, no way.
Yeah. So, and that's the bottom line. That's like a starting point for him.
Yeah, that's right. He goes up. He might even be lowballing him right now. Like, start low, 400. Dang, jeez. Son. You know what that is? That's inflation, grade A inflation right there. Because think about it. Like, you had Alex Rodriguez at 10 years, $275 million. I know that was a while ago, but just think about how much the money has increased then for a type of player. And I know Bryce Harper won the MVP, but before that 1 year, he was sort of overrated, and he didn't have a good year this year. So pretty wise walking in there with that big of an asking price. It's not like you have to sign a deal yet. That just comes up as really cocky, no? I mean, What do you guys think about that number?
I mean, 10 years, that's four. We were talking about it right before we went on break. Miguel Cabrera makes $32 million per year, and that's the record for
average annual salary.
And this guy is looking for $40 million a year for 10 years. It's monopoly money basically.
That's the whole entire Rays. I'm pretty sure budget right now. Yeah. Put into one player.
Yeah, right.
Who's not even Mike Trout.
It's funny you say that because
Joe said that right before the show.
I literally said the same thing right before you even came in. I said, it's one thing if Mike Trout were to ask for this type of contract, but he's not Mike Trout.
And Mike Trout's too humble to even ask for that amount of money. He's like,
Mike Trout's like, yeah, you can give me
admit that Bryce Harper is the type of guy to just walk in and say 10 years, $400 million.
Oh, yeah. He's just going to do a douchey hair flip, put the gel back, and he's like, yo.
God, he's such a douche.
He's such an epitome.
Here's the thing. Hey, listen, right? The Yankees. Get ready. Everyone talks about the Yankees getting Bryce Harper.
He will hit 90 home runs.
And then the Yankees are like, all right, 10 years, 400. I'm telling you right now, 10 years, $410 million Yankees in 2 years.
And then 10 years, $250 million for Matt Harvey.
Yeah, well,
I'm just going out there. I'm just saying,
Jesus. I mean, listen, I say we trade Matt Harvey. I'm one of those guys. But still, with the Bryce Harper thing, there's not a lot of other – I mean, what do you think about his slump this year? Is it just like they learned how to pitch to him? I heard that they were just pitching around him. They just walked him a lot, and it threw him off his game last year, and he didn't really recover ever since. Is it just like
Well, there's a lot of basis in fact in that, because if you look at the numbers that Daniel Murphy produced, it shows that every single pitcher was willing to let's not give him any meatballs they could hit or anything like really challenge him, into the strike zone. It was kind of like, all right, let's dance around here. And you know what? Harper chased that bait, and that's what made him strike out. That's what made him not hit as effectively, and that's why you see it actually parlay over to Daniel Murphy and how his season translated because of this.
So here's the thing, right? I got a Yankee buddy. He listens to the show all the time. JT, if you're listening. But he told me that he predicts that the Yankees will sign Harper. But Harper's just going to, when he signs to the Yankees, he predicts that Harper's just going to be a full home run, low average guy and hit like a bunch of home runs at Yankee Stadium. That's just what he thinks is going to happen. I don't know if you guys think that's what he's going to develop into. Because, I mean, right now, he didn't have a good season, to put it bluntly. And I don't mind it, but I don't know. I mean, listen, you go to Yankee Stadium, you could turn your down numbers around. I mean, you could turn your numbers around. I mean, seriously, Jay Bruce could have a crazy year there. Mark Trumbo, even though he was having a good year, I mean, last year, if he went there, he would have an incredible year. Mm-hmm. It's just like Yankee Stadium is one of those ballparks, sort of like Colorado, where the ball flies and there's a short porch. Yeah, and that helps. It helps with your numbers, straight up. There's just no getting around it, and I just think it's crazy that Bryce Harper. And I'm happy. It's not like I'm hoping that. I'm happy. Listen, that means the Nationals won't pay him, and we will never see him except when he goes to the Yankees that won Subway Series. Hey, we won't see him anymore.
Even though he doesn't.
But he doesn't kill the Mets.
He's not a Met killer. I think I gotta look it up, but he's something like 1 for 23 against Matt Harvey.
Well, here's the thing. And guess what? And he got the one hit when Matt Harvey sucked.
He
got the one hit when Matt Harvey sucked.
He's not a Met. I mean, there's plenty of people in that lineup that kill the Mets. Oh, yeah. Daniel Murphy.
Murphy, the number one killer.
Jason Worth.
And by the way, you brought up Murphy. He's not going to have that year. He'll have a good year. Believe me, he'll have a good year, but it won't be that year.
He'll have a Murphy year. But he's not going to
hit 290, 280, right, and have 40 doubles. But
I mean, this was just ridiculous. I don't know how that happened.
How are they not checking him for the juice right now? I mean, after that whole entire postseason run over there, now is the time to be testing his piss every other week, all right?
I mean,
he drops, by the way, not for nothing, he drops bombs in batting practice.
Oh, yeah.
When he takes BP, it was at a point last year where he put out 5 in a row, and he hits shots.
Really?
He hits balls. I kid you not. He hits balls.
I've not seen his batting.
He hits balls onto the Shea Bridge. You know the Shea?
Yeah.
He hits bombs.
Dude, really?
That's hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah. That's sort of hilarious.
He doesn't mess around.
But you know what? I gotta give respect for Murphy.
This guy might be on the juice, though.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I gotta give respect for Murphy though, because if I was Murphy, that's exactly what this is personally me. When someone doesn't think I could do something, that gives me all the motivation in the world. Mm-hmm. Just so afterwards, I could just say, literally suck me off. I literally say after I've done it, I could say it's too late to get on the bandwagon, so you gotta wait in line. But I bet you that's what Murphy did. Murphy's like, man, I put up all these good years in New York. I know he had bad defense, but he always hit. Mm-hmm. He always hit. Mm-hmm. And they didn't even give him the time of day. He comes in, has a great season in the Nationals. I got to give him some respect. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's the Nationals now, so I don't like him that much anymore. But
there's a funny quick story.
My
friend Lou, who's actually a fan of the show. His
shout out to Lou.
Hey, shout out
to
Lou.
We gave
Good
him
job,
a
Lou. His family actually owns Grace's Market, which is right down the road. They've also got a location in the Upper East Side in Manhattan, and
great place.
Long story short, Murphy's wife and father come into Grace's all the time. They still do. I guess they still live in New York for some weird reason. But and my buddy's dad was talking to Murphy's dad, and he said, I guess this is true. He said that Murphy really wanted to stay here.
Yeah,
but the Mets offered him nothing.
Nothing.
They gave him nothing.
That was a slap in the face.
And here's the thing. Right?
They didn't even, like you said, they didn't give him the
Well, here's
time
the
of
thing.
day.
Here is the thing, right? And I was actually fine with that until my boy Dilson Herrera. And look what we got him for. This loser.
Yeah.
This loser, Jay Bruce, who, by the way, isn't even getting that much trade interest. Granderson is having more interest in this guy because of how bad he was when he came here.
Right.
And I know people go, oh, he started to heat up at the end. Well, that's the end, buddy.
Yeah, that's
too little, too late. The guy didn't heat up at all. And it's okay, I get it. first few weeks, move into a new town. That's sort of big. Like I say, change of scenery.
And a pretty big town too.
Yeah, big town, change of scenery in New York.
I mean,
that's
you
a
go
lot
from
of pressure.
Cincinnati
Yeah,
to New York. It's not.
But
it's different.
when it gets to like you didn't have a good day like throughout the whole season until like the last week, that's when you know, all right, Bruce, I don't know if you can handle it. Or it wasn't even like it was just bad. I mean, he struck out so many times. Watching him strike out was just like an everyday
He looked
thing.
like stiff. He honestly looked like a
If you look
lefty
at his
Jason Bay.
at-bats-
Yeah.
He just looked.
Same
miserable.
initials. I mean, the guy, it's for his sake. As much as I don't like the guy, not that I have anything personal against him, he's not my type of player. I say it all the time. Duda is not my type of player, too. They're the same type of player. The streaky guys, and that's not even being streaky. It's just swinging for the fences no matter what. That is the worst.
Right.
And I'm telling you, Duda lost me in 2015. I'm telling you, the same pitch the pitchers would throw at him at his freaking ankles, and he would just
Just
swing
be breaking
it.
ball at the ankles every
Swing
time.
Swing it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get it. It must be hard to do. It must be hard to lay off. But it's like, bro, that was out your shoelace. That was out your shoelace, brother. I mean, you can't be swinging at balls that low in the strike zone. I mean, you got to have some sort of cue that it's sinking. I mean, it's just like, I just feel like he's a home run guy. This is what he is. Same, and sort of that's the same with Bruce. And they're just streaky. And I mean, I know I can't hold that against the players, but I mean, when you're just streaky like that and you're just all home runs for life, it leads to a low batting average and a low on base percentage. That's what it leads to. And that's not my type of guy. You know, typically. I'm a Sandy guy almost. I would be a Sandy guy. If I played baseball,
base.
I would not be focusing on the home run ever. I would want to hit home runs, but I would just hit the ball. All I would want to do
I mean, this is a
hit
team
it
that
down.
lives and dies on the long
Yeah,
ball. So.
this year it just transformed.
It's kind of
just like, we
ironic.
need bombs. It's like, wait, what? Sandy,
Dude,
what
don't
happened? here?
need
Their
bombs
record when they didn't hit a home run was like,
I think
terrible.
Yeah, the average was
Way
like,
below.
like 250 or something like
Trash,
that.
my
What
friend.
it's a problem.
It's a problem. And that's why, like I'm going to say again, Reyes does not have a spot in this lineup every day. He has a spot, he'll play, but it won't be every day. And he gets on base. He was like he was the leadoff hitter every day. So what are you going to do to get him the most at bats as possible?
Well, he's going to be like a super utility guy.
I guess so.
He's gonna be like,
I guess so.
Like Doug said, he's going to be kind of like a Ben Zobrist
Yeah.
type guy.
Because I mean, it just
we'll
said
see.
that like it came out like 348 that they're trying him in spring training. He's going to be in the outfield,
Yeah.
and so I mean, it just
I mean,
seems
you
like a
gotta
natural.
you got to give that guy as many at bats as you possibly can. Like,
It's just
really.
it's such a glut out there. I mean, look, they're going to end up trading Granderson and or Bruce.
No, they said they don't want to trade both.
You don't want to trade both, but then still you've got Reyes, Cespedes, Bruce or Granderson, Conforto, Lagares. You
Nimmo,
got
actually,
so
too.
many, and Nimmo. You just got a cluster of outfielders. It's going to be
That's why
interesting to see what they do. And I'm really intrigued to see what happens with Michael Conforto because I know he had a sophomore slump last
Well,
year.
here's the
but
thing. Here's the
I'm
thing.
really a big fan.
That's a way to define it. Sophomore
Dude.
slump, where the game adjusts back to the player.
Yeah,
and he just needs another year.
He'll be
Sandy
fine.
addressed it.
It was just a sophomore slump.
Sandy addressed it. He said that he wants Michael Conforto to be an everyday player in 2016.
Good.
And that's good, but that means that
That means Collins has got to write his name in there.
not only that, but it means that he's got to have a place to play. I mean, he could play right field, but then let's say we trade Granderson. What are you doing with Bruce? You put him at first base? You put him at first? I don't know. I mean, we really don't. But then, like, what do you
Conforto's
do?
in center field. I don't know.
You could put
It
Conforto.
wasn't
in center?
actually that bad. Like at first,
No, it
like it
wasn't
doesn't
that
look
bad.
graceful,
He made some
but it's
nice
pretty good.
plays.
It's like Hunter Pence.
Well,
you know,
he's-
you like see him trotting out there, like, oh, jeez.
Well, he
gets it done.
He's an athletic guy, Conforto. I think he could
he
handle it. So.
Got a hot mom.
Really?
Yeah.
Remember? He showed-
Yeah,
he
I thought it was
showed-
Interesting.
I thought
got a hot mom.
I thought it was his girlfriend.
She's pretty hot.
I'm like, is that his girlfriend?
I don't know if
I'm
you'll
like,
find
no,
her
that's
on
his
Google,
mom.
but yeah, she's not bad.
We got there.
Not bad. Wait, she was an Olympian?
Oh yeah, she's an Olympian. She's,
Three-time Olympic medalist
yeah,
in
she's,
synchronized swimming.
Pretty
She's
sure,
full
pretty sure his
package.
dad was like a good athlete too. I don't know exactly what he did, but
But listen,
he's just an athletic.
he's got to be playing every day.
Family.
I want him to develop. And then you mentioned this later. You mentioned this on one of the commercial break. Everyone is talking about first base because it's true. I mean, no one's really talking about first base, by the way. I'm like the only one bringing up.
I
Lucas
feel
Duda.
like catcher is the biggest.
That's
thing.
what. Well, that's the thing.
Travis
For me,
d'Arnaud?
though, it's the opposite. I know that I'm gonna get some.
But you have options at first base. You could put Conforto at first.
Well, we just signed Rin Rivera.
You could put David Wright at
know.
first.
You could put Flores
You
at
could
first.
put Flores at first. You could put T.J. Rivera.
Even
at
Neil
first.
Walker could play a little bit at first.
You have so much depth, so many options at first base, but behind the plate, okay, we re-signed Rene Rivera. I like him. He's a
And
backup.
then-
Yeah, he's a
then
great
we have a-
framer.
then we
He
have a
can't hit
guy-
a lick.
Yeah, well, I know, but at least
What are you
he
doing
could-
with Travis
At least he
d'Arnaud?
could throw to second. That's the thing. At least he could throw to second. You know, I mean, we got enough offense.
Well,
Like,
an option maybe is, if we're looking towards the trade market, we're talking about Jay Bruce. We've talked about the Blue Jays. What about Russell Martin as
No,
a
here's the
potential,
thing. We
you know,
talked
option?
about that. He has a crazy contract. by the way.
That's the only thing
He's
that's
got
making them
an
hesitant.
It was like $82 million for like what, like 6
contract.
years or something like that.
He's got like something like $20 million left on his contract. It's like, I don't know.
No, I think he's got 20.
It was 5 years, $82 million signed 2 years ago. So it's about, damn, that's a pretty
buddy.
sizable.
That's a
pretty
lot.
sizable.
And listen,
$15 million in
Can I just
2016, then $20 million in the final 3
Can I
seasons.
just say, bro? I'm DTF right now with that contract. I am DTF with that contract. Like, let's go. But again, that's money. That's money right there. But I feel like, listen, Travis d'Arnaud, right? It was so weird. Like, I remember we sort of watched this kid grow. I watched this kid freaking grow.
Yeah.
I mean, in 2014, I'm never gonna forget because that was sort of like the year at the end of the year when you go, maybe this kid has something. Because he went down. I don't know if you remember this because this was a while ago. But he got sent down to AAA because he wasn't hitting a lick. He was hitting
2004? I remember
He was
that.
hitting 214 or something, and he got sent down to AAA. He came back up, and he started raking. He just started raking. And then in 2015, he was doing great. He got hurt. And then when he came back, he raked. And I think he got hurt one more time for like 2 weeks, and then he raked.
Well, what happened was in 2014, his swing was very long. He was trying to hit home runs. He went down to AAA, and I guess Wally Backman just straightened about, shortened his swing. That's what he has to do. He gets like home run and pull happy, and he tries to pull everything. He's just got to stay short.
Like whenever he was playing prior to last year, after that 2014 All-Star stint, AAA stint, he was raking.
Yeah,
and
he
I
raked.
really liked his swing. And I'll tell you this: how old is he? Do we know?
So Martin?
No.
No.
D'Arnaud.
Oh,
D'Arnaud.
D'Arnaud. Oh,
He's-
TDA? He's like,
he's
27, 28?
I mean, I would say
He's
it's not the
27.
worst thing in the world to give him another shot.
Yeah, he's 27.
And I don't know. I think he could have a comeback. And it's so sad how I said this because I remember at the end of 2015, I said if this guy could just stay healthy, he could be an all-star. That's what I said. Now, obviously, that didn't happen. But I just said, man, if he could just tighten his swing.
They're not ready to give up on him quite
No,
yet.
not
No,
yet.
no.
I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to run him out another year. And if anything, if the defense is that bad, Rin Rivera was a great
Somebody's
defensive
just got to
catcher.
work with him, shorten his swing.
Well,
because
that's the thing. They hired this third base coach.
We've seen what he can do in the postseason.
His bat speed, and he just had a
thing-
compact, tight
Yeah.
swing that he's
Off
have.
the
That's like
apple.
through the zone, like lightning. But
He's
then
a
this
strong. He's a strong kid. I mean, you saw
Really
you,
strong.
you saw he put the ball in the freaking apple in the NLCS.
Year, oh yeah,
Apple.
actually, yeah, that's true.
The guy
I mean,
can.
the guy could rake, and he had a great. Well, again, when he's
It's
on
sad
the field,
'cause I
he
feel
has a
like
great
there's so
year.
much potential. He has time, but he better
has
figure
time.
it out quick.
This is a big year for him.
Yes.
Because this
Yep.
is huge. And by the way, he's got to find a way to. By the way, it's not like he has like a torn ACL or something. Just some weird, strange things happens with him. Like he'll just get these freakish accidents. Like I remember one time he got a concussion off one of the batters at Yankee Stadium in the Subway Series. He got a concussion. I mean,
Because
Only
the
thing-
backswing.
Yeah,
like, hit him in
the backswing hit him and just knocked him.
Or how about Ike Davis a few years ago getting valley fever?
Oh,
Remember
yeah, right?
that? Or how about Kevin Plawecki last year getting vertigo?
Well, him.
This is the most Mets things I've ever heard.
By the way, Kevin Plawecki, garbage. I
yeah.
don't
Oh, yeah.
like
You're-
that guy.
you're
And we
preaching
know
to the
Ace ain't
choir.
a big fan.
I
of the
ranted
Plawecki.
against this guy Plawecki, and you remember all the times when we would always talk. I hate.
Oh, you're preaching to
Plawecki.
the choir.
I
Me
do
too.
not want to see him in the big leagues. By the way, I don't know if we ever talked about this, but Eric Campbell's gone. You know,
Wait,
He's
the
like
ship is
he's gone.
completely out of the organization.
He's going to Japan, bro.
Take him.
How
Keep
much
him,
is he going
Japan.
to-
We don't need him
I
anymore.
actually-
Enjoy the soup, all right?
Yeah, don't even put a return.
It's
address on the
it's
guy.
expired in the Mets terms.
I
all
mean,
right?
we got to go to break. Well, we got to go, actually.
We gotta
Yeah,
go.
wait,
We
wait a
gotta
minute.
Come on, we can
leave.
do another hour, right?
I got to get this Eric Campbell deal before we go. I want to see if
He
they
signed
actually
with a
use it.
Japan team. I don't know.
That's
don't
what I
know
love
the
about
move.
actually seeing before this meetings is seeing all the players they're signed with, like the KBO in Korea and also at the Japanese teams. I'm like,
How much?
It's
How much? How
insane.
much?
I'm gonna guess it's like 1.1 mil.
I want to see if they say it. If they don't say it, we'll end the show right here. They don't say it, but he's probably getting that money. He's probably getting more money than he would get.
Oh, he's
here.
getting like double the amount of money that he'd be
And he's
getting in the
trash.
States.
He's garbage. All right, well, that's the show, boys. Thank you for listening.
Be good, everyone.
The Mets
Take
are
it easy.
the Mets are a real team again. Goodbye. We'll speak to you next week.
Hi, this is Officer Brian Snyder from the IRS Department.
Really, Brian? Who are you kidding?
The reason to this call is to inform you that the IRS has issued an arrest warrant against you,
No, it hasn't. This is a scam.
so call me back to get the detailed information about your case. My callback number is 352-464-60.
The IRS never calls a taxpayer. They always contact you with a certified letter.
It's very important we hear from you today.
It's very important that you know this phone call is a fake. Brian is after your money. Do not be afraid. Do not respond. Do not become a victim.
A public service announcement from your friends at WCWP.
Don't text and drive, don't smoke, don't abuse alcohol and drugs, don't eat junk food, don't be cruel to a heart that's true.
But do listen to great rock for adults.
And it's all over now, baby blue.
WCWP Brookville, from the North Shore of Nassau, 88.1 FM, and beyond, WCWP.org.